Hi, everybody. Here's a video on how to get your outline, your argumentative essay outline into final draft form. Um, the main thing that I want to stress is that I am going to grade both from your outline and from your final draft. So I'm going to look at your final draft for things like formatting, like is it all one font, all one size? But also, did you indent your paragraphs? But I'm going to do the majority of the grading of your content and your grammar from this outline that you're looking at right now. This is what you've been working with the most. And it is significantly easier for me to assess your work in this format than in the paragraph format. And since I'm grading 100 papers, I can get them back a lot faster to you by grading in both formats. So you need, the main thing is that all the checklists and peer and self checklisting that you're doing, you need to do it to the outline, which is essentially become your rough draft. Do not move anything to the final draft until this is perfect. And then you can do that. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is open up in Google Classroom. You'll open up, of course, your argumentative essay outline and your final draft argumentative essay. Okay, and you're just going to start taking start with your title. Now, remember, I had several titles. You're supposed to have one. I had several because I'm showing you different types. But I'm going to just pick one of my titles. And again, I'm copying and pasting. I am not cutting and pasting. And I am going to bring it into the argumentative essay outline, and I'm going to replace the word title with my title. Now, it should be centered and it should be bold. If it shows up red, great, leave it. If it shows up black, great, leave it. Everything else should be black. But if the title ends up being red, that's fine. Then, though, I am now going to start copying and pasting in paragraphs. So I'm going to go ahead and set myself up by making it left justified, because that's how we write, from left to right. We don't write centered. Okay, so now I'm going to come back in, and remember that your first paragraph, so if you're 6th graders, you're going to have a 4-paragraph essay, and if you're 7th or 8th graders, you're going to have a 5-paragraph essay. But for both groups, your first paragraph is going to be the hook and the thesis statement. Okay, again, you only had to have one hook. I wrote 3 as a sample. So I'm going to pick the one I like the most. I'm going to bring it over here. I'm not going to skip any spaces or anything. I'm just going to copy and paste. We'll do line spacing later. Now, paragraphs do need to be indented, though, so I'm going to go ahead and use my tab key to indent. And then I come back, and I'm going to pull over my thesis statement. Now, remember, my thesis statement is in 3 separate boxes, but it's all one sentence. I have 3 or 4 examples of how to start my do my concession. You should have just had one. Again, I have more because I'm showing you guys how to do stuff. And I'm going to copy and paste it into the same paragraph. So my introductory paragraph, my first paragraph, is going to be potentially just 2 sentences, right? Your hook could have been just 1 sentence, and then your thesis is just 1 sentence. Okay. Remember that as I go, I am making sure that there are spaces between words and sentences. Okay. Now my computer is starting to auto correct for me and skip to the next lines. And it's doing that because I've done this 4 or 5 times now for each class. So your computer may not, your computer may just stay here, and you might have to actually hit enter. Okay, now I'm going to go back over, and now I'm going to get my body paragraph. For 6th grade, your first body paragraph is going to be 6 sentences. If you wrote more in your reasoning or your quote was a little longer, you might have 7 or 8 sentences, but if you get to be 9 sentences, that's too much. And if you don't have 6, you don't have enough. For 7th and 8th grade, your first paragraph is a little shorter because you have more paragraphs. I think your first paragraph's like 4 or 5 sentences. But basically, these boxes, everything on the left is my writing, don't copy it. And everything on the right is your writing, do copy it. And each box is a sentence, or potentially 2. So you're just going to copy and paste. Okay. And if it does not indent for you, indent it. Okay. because it is a paragraph and we indent paragraphs. Okay. All right. And just pull every single thing over. You can, if you feel like you kind of understand how you need to copy and paste, you can fast forward through this part of this. But don't stop watching yet, because there is more that I need to show you at the end. Okay. So there's your first body paragraph. For 6th grade, again, you only have 2 body paragraphs for a total of 4 paragraphs, but your first body paragraph is going to be really long. Whereas 7th and 8th grade, you have 3 body paragraphs and they're all about the same size. Okay. Or I should say the same length. Now, 6th grade, your second body paragraph is really short. It is 3 sentences long. Again, maybe up to 5, but if it's less than 3, it's wrong. Okay. And remember, it's a new paragraph, so I'm going to skip a line and I'm going to indent if the computer doesn't indent for me. In this case, it did indent for me. Great for you. Okay. Leaving spaces as I go if the computer doesn't do it for me. Okay. Now, and then, so then again, 7th and 8th grade, you'll also do your 3rd body paragraph, which is that counterclaim. Now, everyone has a closing. Remember that I said, first of all, you only need 1 closing. I have a billion because I was showing you guys examples. You have 1, and it should only be 1 to 3 sentences long. So literally, you might have a 1-sentence paragraph, which is your conclusion or your closing. That's fine. What you can't have is a 10-sentence paragraph. If you have more than 3 sentences, you probably started going back into your body paragraphs, and you should come see me. So I had a bunch of examples. I'm just going to pick the one I like the best. And again, I only had a bunch of examples because I was showing you guys. And it is a paragraph, so I'm going to make it a new line. Okay, so now, first thing I need to do is I can delete all of this up here because they're just directions. I don't need all this. Then I'm going to highlight my entire paper. And I need to do 2 things. 1, I need to make sure it's all Arial and all 12. Remember, I don't have good eyesight. The other thing you need to do is go to line spacing. So go to Format, Lines and Paragraph Spacing, and do double. There you go. Now I have my subjunctive subordinating conjunction, even though highlighted in yellow. You guys don't need to have that. I only did that for your benefit. But if you happen to highlight yours, it's fine. But there shouldn't be any other highlighting in here. Do keep the bold. Where you have bold, keep the bold. And yeah, I think that is good. All right, guys. Bye.